I'm Mignon Grayson, and I'm your host, and welcome to Sacred Mysteries channel. I am an interfaith spiritualist and minister, ordained, and I'm also an initiated priestess of the Palo Congo tradition, as well as a sound healer and a performance artist. And I'm also an ancestral medium. Anyway, I'm here today. I wanted to talk about spirituality and beginning on a spiritual path and actually share my own personal journey in hopes that it will help someone who's starting out and trying to kind of wade your way through all that's going on in the spiritual arena today. Spirituality has become such a buzz thing, and it's the thing now, and it's even so much of a thing that it's in corporate America. You have all kinds of coaches and trainings, and it incorporates a lot of the ancient traditions that have been, sterilized and shined up for corporate America and mainstream. Um, I started out when I was about 15 or 16 on a serious spiritual quest. I wanted to know more. I felt like there was more. I knew there was a spiritual realm that I wasn't quite in touch with, but it was just there for me to reach, but I didn't know how. I was raised as a Christian. However, Christianity didn't really resonate with me. I started to look at other religions and as well as spiritualities, as well as esoteric, mysticism, alchemy. All of those things interested me because it was so self-empowering. So as a young person blossoming and starting to find myself, I wanted to know more about myself, not as a physical person. I wanted to know more about myself as a spiritual person. And I found that coming into this wisdom and this knowledge and learning and growing, that it helped me to realize who I am and to be more secure and more grounded in my life. And it helped me to further myself along the path of life and support me through everything. Spirituality is such a hot topic today. There's so much out there on the market, so much um, on social media, information on the internet. It's everywhere. And sometimes it can be so mind-boggling and you don't know what direction to take. And so when that happens, you either do nothing or do little, or you get so immersed in so much information, and there's a lot of information that agrees and there's a lot of information that conflicts with other information, so you don't really have a clue, and people are learning a lot via the internet, but that is a good place, but then also there's a lot of misinformation on there. In my journey, in my day, we didn't have the internet when I started out, so I'm not going to say my age, no, but no, I'm actually very proud of my age. But back then, what we had was in-person meetings, we had books, we read materials, we went to the libraries, did researches, had groups, meditation circles and different things like that, which helped us connect to different people and to learn different things and to exchange ideas, and also to get recommendations on people you could go to and that you could trust and that you knew were on the path for the right reasons and would pass on the teachings so that you could learn and grow. So that was was a heavy influx of that when I was coming up, so I benefited from that. In the world today, there's always this guru and that coach and this spiritual leader and that priestess or priest. There's so much, lots of promises to be able to help you unlock your potential, to help you to grab abundance, and have the life that you want. So there's all of this is coming. You're inundated all left, right, and center. And sometimes, a lot of people are out there just to make money. And a lot of people are authentic. There's just a lot of all of that. But you got to wade through it. So if you're just starting out, I wanted to come and just talk about, some things to potentially help you in your search and in your journey. When it comes to beginning on a spiritual path, most of us just want to be pointed in the right direction, outside of maybe where you were, what you were brought up as. Most of us here in the United States, where I am, we're brought up as Christians. And people are seeking outside of Christianity in order to expand and deepen their spiritual practices, because they're not finding in the church something that's satisfying their souls and their spirits. So some people just want to be pointed in the right direction in terms of information. Some people are self-starters, and and that's all they want. And then there's people who prefer to be around a group, prefer to be involved with a group of people who share similar interests and share studying of a particular spiritual path or paths. So you want to do that in a group. And then there's some people who want an elaborate kind of setting where things are extremely ceremonial, extremely ritualistic. So they want to be involved in that, in an experience like that. And then there's others that kind of want a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of everything, and carry on, journey on. But wherever you land on the spectrum of how you want to proceed on your spiritual path, there is a way for you to get what you need. But the ultimate and first thing is to start with you. You. Yes. Just kind of sitting with yourself from time to time, asking those questions of, what is it that I feel that I am missing? What is it that I feel that I want? What is it that I want to do in the spirit? What do I want spirituality to do for me? What is it that I feel that I am missing? And once you're able to kind of identify the areas in which you want to improve, the areas in which you feel you are lacking, or the areas in which you just want to explore more, to know who you are as a spiritual being, then you'll be able to get on track. You'll be able to research and find out where you can get that information. Spirituality can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. And when I say that, I mean simple. It could be something as simple as a few things that you do every day that keeps you on a spiritual path and in a spiritual frame of mind. Or there are things that you can do that is extremely ceremonial, and elaborate in how you go about expressing your spiritual nature. In my experience, it's best to start out simple and find out what calls to you. There are so many different paths now, and then you can take it from there step by step. Take your time. There is no rush, because as soon as you start to nurture yourself more spiritually, you will start to satisfy those parts of you that is seeking. So take your time. You want to make the right steps. You want to be involved with the right people. You want to ensure that you are getting what you need and nothing more than that. I started the Sacred Mysteries channel so that it can bring to people the various, introduction to the various spiritual practices and spiritual technologies out in the world, from the indigenous practices of Africa, in particular certain countries in Africa like Nigeria, the Congo, Ghana, Egypt, and also China, India, and Australia, the Americas. There's lots of ancient indigenous practices that have spiritual wisdom that can uplift you and that can help to nurture you spiritually. So I started this channel so that I can bring those teachings to you from people from those traditions, the authentic people from the tradition, because there's a lot, what I see out in the spiritual arena now is there are people who have studied and that they are not from that culture, but they come and they study and they learn and then they teach. And although there's nothing wrong with that, my preference is to bring teachers that are from the culture, that were birthed into the culture, and they were raised in the culture, and then they decided to take a spiritual leadership within their spiritual culture and share it to help others to grow and learn and heal. So that will be coming down the line. I will have lots of different interviews, and also there will be some things that I will bring to you from my own spiritual life and spiritual culture. And as the spiritual sacred mysteries will be bringing you spiritual teachings that will help you evolve. That is the whole point, is evolution, spiritual growth, spiritual satisfaction. All of those things will help to contribute to you being a better person, a more satisfied person. And when that happens on a global scale, then we can have a world that will be a better place for all of us. What's important when you start on your spiritual journey is, one, to have a desire and a curiosity to learn, to study, and to grow. Two, to do your own research. You must do your own research. You must do your own investigation into various spiritual practices. And I also deeply encourage that you start with your own spiritual tradition from your own history and background, your ancestry. So whatever your ancestry is, it's best to start there. And then once you discover your spiritual culture from your own ancestry, then from there you can branch out and learn about others and incorporate techniques and technologies from those other spiritual cultures into how you do your spiritual life. But I always find that there's a deep sense of satisfaction when you go into your own ancestral legacy. And that is a huge part of spirituality, is your ancestral legacy, where you came from, where your people came from antiquity all the way to today, or today all the way back into antiquity. So it's so important, because that's something that resonates within your DNA, your physical DNA and your spiritual DNA. So that is the first clue that I can give you, is to find out what your ancestry is and begin your research with the ancestry that you have, because more than likely there's something there that will resonate with you. And then you start to investigate that, learn about that, and then find out where you can where the leadership is, where there are people who are experienced in that particular spiritual culture that you can connect with and learn more. I think that was number 3. So number 3 is to be discerning in who and what you connect with, because we can like I said earlier, you can do a lot of research, the internet and all that, but make sure you're getting the right information, because there's a lot of people out there writing books that have some of the information, but it's not all the way right. So you have to, do a lot of reading, do a lot of research, cross-reference, get into some study groups, maybe online or in your area if you can connect with folks there, and learn more. But you have to be discerning in who you deal with, because unfortunately in religion and spirituality, two are not the same. Religion and spirituality, because it's not a field that can be regulated, you will find that there are people that may not know what you think they know, that are passing themselves off as leaderships and gurus. So, be discerning, read and cross-reference. And when you do a lot of cross-referencing, you will find that there's information that will verify each other. But there is nothing, and I repeat, there is nothing that replaces a spiritual teacher, someone that you can learn from, that has gone through the steps that you are going through as someone starting out. So that is definitely should always be a goal. You have to find someone to learn from. In my stage in life, I'm still learning from people. I still go to others and, to come together and to learn from one another. You never stop learning, but, especially when you're starting out, you really, really need to have a teacher, a mentor. And 4 and 5 together, I have it down here, is get a good teacher, get a teacher that you can rely The other thing is, always be open-minded, always be willing to learn more. Never think that you know it all, because none of us do. But as you start to learn, open yourself up to learning more, and perhaps challenging some of the concepts that you were raised with. When you start on a spiritual path, you will have to examine and investigate a lot, and some things will come up in the way that you were raised. So have an open mind and a willingness to learn and to grow beyond where you are now. And I, in particular, I had mentioned, start off with your ancestry. In my early days, as I mentioned, I started off with mysticism, alchemy, esoteric, which there are a lot of principles that are universal. There are principles that are universal across all spiritualities. And they may be in different names, they may be practiced in different ways, but there are principles that are universal. Once you start your studies, you will find that out. You'll see the similarities. But in particular, for me, I was drawn to the spirituality of my ancestors, the Yoruba people of southwest Nigeria, and also the people of the Congo, and also ancient Egypt. So all of that is my ancestry, and those are the traditions that I was drawn to the most. Although I do study other traditions from India and China, Australia, and I find what I think will work with what I already do to enhance it. So I bring some of that into it. Please be aware of people who say that they are self-initiated. Although we can teach ourselves a lot, and that goes beyond saying, and some people have that type of mind where they can grasp a lot of information and ascertain certain things and kind of get the concepts, but being self-initiated is not a thing. Just like you can't give birth to yourself, someone has to give birth to you and raise you up. It's the same in spiritual traditions. So, please beware of people who say that they are self-initiated and they came into this awareness on their own. We all have teachers. We all have to learn. And you don't want someone that is going to tell you to learn from them and they are saying that they're self-initiated. So beware of that. I personally became an ordained interfaith minister and spiritualist because I wanted to help people on their spiritual journey that come from all different types of paths spiritually and religiously. So it was my calling to have that kind of ordination where I would be empowered to do just that. And it also supported my work in sacred mysteries worldwide. And so, that's my story in brief, and I hope some of what I've said, can help you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. If there's something in particular you want to, know more about in terms of the ancient traditions, indigenous traditions from different places in the world, I'd like to know what you want to learn. So please post it in the comments. Also coming down the line for Sacred Mysteries Worldwide is that I have one of my videos coming up is going to be 11 insights into starting on a spiritual path, where I break down certain steps that you can take that will help you begin your journey on a spiritual path, or to help to strengthen your journey if you've already begun. And then I will be having interviews with different spiritual leaders and spiritual teachers from the indigenous practices around the world. So that should be a lot of fun. So it'll be more than just me on my channel talking. I will bring in the experts. I will bring in people who can share their deep wisdom with you and their experiences. I hope you enjoyed what we talked about, what I shared with you. Please like, subscribe, put the notification bell on so that when my videos go up, you know that they're there and you can come and check them out. Also, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Both places we're Sacred Mysteries Worldwide. On Instagram is Sacred Mysteries _WW, and on Facebook it's Sacred Mysteries Worldwide. We also, you can come and check us out online at our website, www.sacredmysteries.org. So leave all the links below, and I look forward to bringing more information to you in the near future. So for now, I wish you peace, blessings on your spiritual journey, and we'll see each other soon. Ciao. Peace.